Well, that kind of integration you got. You now can sleep with white women and men, right? They don't kill you as quick as they used to. So you feel we've arrived in heaven, right? So now we have a lot of mixed marriages or mixed sleep-ins and mixed babies, right? But even in the mixture, white folks are losing. You can't shake that up and get a white person. So the black man has a weapon that he's using to make white folks extinct.
Welcome to NeoUnrealist. Now, the individual you just heard, and I'm sure to most of you, he needs no introduction. But I'll make no assumptions, and the off chance you don't know who that is, that's the Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. As this is not a video about Louis Farrakhan, I'll just simply describe him, say basically he would be the equivalent of, if there was an alt-right in black politics, he'd be the poster guy for it. Suffice it to say, he's one of the few public figures in the black community who mainstream figures find unacceptable to be seen to associate with or be connected to, even tangentially. Barack Obama famously avoided any hint of revealing his past contacts with Farrakhan, who was a staple figure in Chicago politics, where Obama was from as a politician before he entered national politics. Not even a picture of Obama with Farrakhan could be allowed to be let out, I mean, lest it hurt him politically. So you can imagine my surprise that Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison, who spent years in the Nation of Islam, which is an ostensibly Islamic sect headed by Louis Farrakhan, that he's managed to not just get elected in spite of that involvement with the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan, but rise to the level of deputy chairman of the DNC. So keep that in mind as I start talking to you about the subject of this video, that Keith Ellison already has a major strike against him for which he's not paid any price within the Democrat Party for. His being a, he says, former follower of a black separatist who most respectable politicians would never be caught being in a photo with. Keith Ellison, he's leaving Congress now, and he's running for the Minnesota Attorney General's office. And just days before the Democrat primary for the AG's office earlier this week, the son of his former live-in girlfriend, a man named Austin Monahan, says that he saw a video of Ellison yelling at and violently dragging his mother off of a bed. That was on a Saturday before the Tuesday primary. By Sunday, the former girlfriend Karen Monahan confirmed the allegations of her son. Monday came and went, nothing. Not the DNC, no Democrats said a word about Keith Ellison's problem. Tuesday, primary day comes, still nothing, until an hour before the polls close in Minnesota. Then Tom Perez, head of the DNC, releases a perfunctory statement saying that the DNC takes this very seriously and will do a review of the situation. Whoa, profile and courage there, an hour before the polls close. Ellison, of course, he goes on to beat the other four Democrats in the primary. You know, with early voting, probably half the votes were in already before Election Day. And he wins with an over 30-point lead over the second-place candidate. Democrats, apart from that little blurb from Perez, still radio silence by Wednesday. The mainstream media, news blackout in the story. Nothing but a little blurb on CNN's K-File, a little mention on NPR. It was just nothing on the story. And of course, the right-wing media was covering it, but as you know, there weren't going to be a lot of Minnesota DFL primary voters checking out places like Fox News for their candidate information. Now it's coming to the end of the week, and now a second woman has come out and accused Keith Ellison of domestic violence. Now, Keith Ellison denies this. Keep that in mind. This is all just allegations at this point. And it's hinted at, well, it's not hinted at, it's claimed that a video exists, but none has been put forth. No elected Democrat is calling for Keith Ellison to resign, step down, anything. Al Franken had to resign a Senate seat when a photo of him groping a sleeping woman on an airplane came out, and it triggered other women to share their own stories of abuse at his hands. Now, not to diminish what Al Franken did, but the thing that took him down was a grope of a sleeping victim. Keith Ellison is being accused of violence against women, not copping a feel. So on top of being a follower of a man who many Democrats even would say is a racist and getting away with it, Keith Ellison has 2 credible accusations of being violent with 2 different women. And these are not long ago. I mean, the Monahan accusation is from 2016, for crying out loud. And the Democrat Party and its elected politicians are going to let this guy run for office on their ticket? Guilty of domestic violence while in office, if you believe these charges? Now, I wouldn't even bring this up because my position is that a person shouldn't be punished for an unproven crime or allegation. But it's Democrats who set the precedent of believe all women and that a serious, credible charge must result in the political death penalty. Even for something like Al Franken's copping a feel like some kind of Sandman on a sleeping woman's breasts, let alone a violent crime against women like domestic violence. I guess all it took to put an end to the hashtag MeToo movement was the leftists' own intersectional math. I mean, they've settled once and for all the debate that Muslim identity trumps female identity in the intersectional math of the left. Keith Ellison has 2 chits in the Oppression Olympics. He is a black Muslim. It could be, you could almost call it a new patriarchy in effect, because obviously Keith Ellison, whether or not he's just exercising the rights granted to him under Sharia law as a man, the power that they hold over the women in their household. I mean, let me leave you with Karen Monahan's words, the alleged victim's words on the kind of person that Keith Ellison is, and just what it is that the Democrats are endorsing with their silence. The next morning, he came into the room I was sleeping in. I was laying across the bed with my headphones on, listening to podcast on my phone. He said he was about to leave town for the weekend and told me to take the trash out. Given the explosive outrage that occurred the night before, I just shook my head yes. I didn't look up at him or say anything. That is when he tried to drag me off the bed by my legs and feet, screaming, "Bitch, you answer when I'm talking to you." I said, "Take out the trash. You're a bad guest," even though we were living in the same place. He kept trying to drag me off the bed, telling me to get the fuck out of his house over and over. I froze. He had to leave and get on the plane. He knocked a shoe off my foot and told me I better be gone when he gets back, which was in 2 days. This happened in 2016. Now, this keeps up much longer. I'm going to have to say that hashtag MeToo, it's dead. And the Democrats get credit for ending it with the establishment of the new Sharia-compliant patriarchy. That's all for this NeoUnrealist. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to keep up with the new content. If you're on BitChute, follow the link in the description below to sub there. And for those of you who want to go the extra mile, there's a link to the channel's Patreon down there too. Thanks for watching.
In many large cities now you have Koreatown, Greek town, Polish town. Well, hell, you say, well, yeah, them is white people and Asian people. Well, going down to Miami and look at the Haitians. They're your black brothers and sisters. They came to America a few years ago. They got their own part of town. They got their own politics. They got 5 banks. And you sitting around here talking about how big and bad you are. Don't have a damn bank. Don't have no money. You live in a separate part of town and don't own nothing in that part of town.